so much because of like the hard stop issues with it.
So we're talking about the MLS kit reveals. Yeah, we're live on Bubblestuff.
I didn't even realize that.
I'm too loud.
You're not too loud.
No.
Oh, your headset.
Is that okay? Is that better?
No.
Lower?
No, that's my headset.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are here, maybe, Angie?
Yeah.
Is that good?
That's better.
That good? Okay.
Thank
cool.
you.
Yep.
So we're talking about the MLS kit reveals that are going on. I honestly, for as much of a restriction as there is from everybody, kind of, it's like conglomeration type thing. I think there's like restrictions on design and that sort of. Everything looks pretty cool for the most part.
Yeah.
Like most people, I feel like knocked it out of the park. Just looking at them pretty quickly.
Some of them are pretty terrible, though.
Was that the Dallas
basic.
one, the red one?
I think so. Yeah.
The Orlando one is garbage. Whatever you want to say
There's a
about
couple.
Orlando.
There's a
it's
couple
garbage.
that were pretty terrible. But
anyway, I am Tim Herb. I'm joined as always by my lovely co-hosts, Kevin Bradley and my lovely wife.
Second billing. Always.
No,
I was
save the
waiting.
best for last.
oh, look at this guy!
Oh.
Look at this guy!
It's just habit at this point. It's just a habit.
Look,
Just
it's just
have it.
because I was here first. It's not because it's
I
not based on
know.
importance.
I know.
It's alphabetical order. That's it.
That doesn't make sense.
No, makes no sense.
How not?
Last name.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Alphabetical order.
Thank
and
you guys
then
for joining
after that,
us.
the tiebreaker.
We had
is
5 or 6 people
Tenure.
joining us in the trap.
Sharing the same last name.
Sure. Yeah,
The
exactly.
tiebreaker.
Exactly.
Yeah, we didn't test levels or anything, and haven't had 3 mics hooked up in a while.
I'm
so
sure
it's been a
it's
while.
gonna be
Just
great.
pulled the cord on us.
Yeah.
Sure, it's fine.
How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody feeling?
Good. Great. Excited. Glad to be back to hang. Talk about our silly lives.
Kevin's gonna do art markets this year.
Are you really?
This is the year.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I don't know which one. I know I'm going to do Chomp. I'm committed to doing that one, but I want to do at least one other.
Applications for that don't even go up until Labor Day, right?
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
a while. So I'm going to, I need to get back into the swing of things, and I've got a plan to do that. Honestly, so much of the first part of this year has been just planning for my trip in April. So I think
Have we talked much about that on Bubblestuff?
I don't know
In terms of what you're doing in April?
I don't know if we
Going to
have or
Peru,
not.
doing the Inca Trail, going and
Breaking my brain.
pulling the rip cord,
Yeah.
letting her rip.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, first half of the year has just been trying to get my life and schedule and personal
Get your
well-being.
life.
Yeah. It's been great though. I mean, definitely did not see things being as great as they are right now, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like seeing you smile like that.
Cute,
Stop it.
cute, cute,
Stop.
cute.
Both of you stop.
No, you hang up first.
So what are you working on, or what are you about to start working on? You started working on stuff a couple weeks ago.
House.
Yeah. So a couple of things. So I was doing. So I finished the label design, which we talked about.
We haven't put that up on the screen share though.
Oh yeah, and I don't know how we could.
I can figure it out.
Don't sweat it.
We
I
could
mean,
put it on the Instagram stories.
Yeah, well, I'll do that because
That's
I've
true.
got
Yeah,
a
we'll
picture.
pop it up on the
I've actually
Instagram
got
story.
I was waiting to post it until I had a bottle. And now that I do, I'm going to post it. I need to do that. I forgot about it actually. But the label design. Got the die cut labels from Sticker Mule, which turned out
Nice. I
really,
was
really
wondering where you
great.
got- Yeah.
And so actually have one on a bottle now, which turned out really great.
So what people might not know, so one of Kevin's coworkers, he makes bourbon blends.
Yeah.
And he commissioned Kevin to do a label design and a run of labels for him for that bourbon. And George is a huge Atlas Shrugged fan or Ayn Rand fan. And it kind of revolves around that.
We talked about all this. The
Did we?
episode didn't go up, but we talked about it on the last episode.
Yeah.
We need
Maybe-
to post that.
We'll post 2 of
We'll
them.
post both of
Yeah,
them
we'll
back
post
to
them
back.
back to back.
Yeah.
Since we didn't, There's like a 2-week lapse where
Yeah.
I was just like,
No, that's fine.
yeah, I
It's
kept
fine.
forgetting to post stuff, and then I'd feel
Because
really
if we're
guilty,
post
and then
this
I'd
one,
forget
we've
to
got to
post it
post that
again.
one.
Yeah,
So it's fine.
even though we skipped one on the Atlanta United shows, it's
that
just not
doesn't
up on the
matter.
podcast.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
because it's
matter.
time sensitive on that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, finished that and then tried to get back to the No Place Like Home stuff that I was starting at the end of last year. He's just like, why is everyone's feet on me? So I want to finish at least the one that I was working on for my house, and then I've been working on this tattoo idea for a while, and I've got some ideas for it, and I'm trying to really pull together all my thoughts on what I want to get. And I know what the concept revolves around, but it's trying to get the execution kind of figured out and mapped out. So
Ooh.
yeah. Because so I did, and then it's weird because I did the design for the one that I have on my side, and it was all about identity and like where I grew up and like looking ahead and being, this. It was about the individual, right? And so that there was very much that aspect of it, and the creativity and everything tied into that in a lot of ways. And then this one, based on things that have happened in the 10 years since I got that, it's like I've had this evolution of thoughts and realization about what home means to me, and the idea of home and family and everything else. And so that it's all kind of tied together with this no place like home idea, is like how important set and setting is. And it's not just about the walls and the roof, it's and the things inside, it's the people and the things that happen inside that makes it important. And how can I find a way to construct some sort of graphic visual representation of that? So
How big is it?
I'm thinking like 6x6 or something. It'll be like on my left thigh, because my
six.
exactly, because I've got my right side done, and so this would be like left. I'm not a person that's going to get like a sleeve or anything like that, and especially because the one that I have and then this one are both important to me, and it's not necessarily something for show for everybody. So it'll be on like my left quad or thigh, so it'll just kind of balance out what I already have, basically. So
Is there any reason you're mumbling and talking like this?
because I don't want to be loud, and I don't know. It might just also be that I turned yours down. Is the level?
Oh no, you're definitely whispering.
Okay. It's also weird talking about that kind of stuff.
Why? Why is it
Talking
weird?
about your body on the internet.
Talking about my body and feelings, and
But why is it weird?
I don't know.
It's personal.
Yeah. It's not podcast, it's personal.
Yeah. I'm the only one of the three of us that doesn't have a tattoo.
Yet.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever get one?
No. It's like beyond that point.
I can understand that for like drinking and stuff like that. But for tattoos, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like my best tattoo ideas.
But
would
what if
be
I don't come
now.
back from Peru? Would you get like my birthday on your body somewhere, or my face?
That's weird.
We'll talk after the show. No, I'm
That's
just-
insult to injury.
No, I don't know. I've talked about it before, just like buyer's remorse all the time
Yeah.
about stuff. And then stop it. Yeah, the dog
I had
just
that with
chewing.
all of my tattoos. So like a week where I hated it,
Yeah.
and then I go back to liking it.
So
It's like what's that called when you're just playing devil's advocate with yourself, just not letting yourself like it, and then realizing, oh, I got this because I wanted it.
yeah, I've had a lot of that lately.
Ah.
I want it. I bought it.
So how many do you have? Because you have an interesting approach to the ones that you have, in that they're not like in your face
They're pretty
big
small.
things.
I have a side one that's the biggest one, but then I have 4 tiny ones.
Yeah,
So 5.
gotcha. Do you think you'll get more?
I don't know. My family thinks I stopped getting them because Tim doesn't like them. They have given him that credit, but they just made that up. I just ran out of like momentum to get more. I still see stuff I like all the time, but all the stuff I like is big stuff now.
Yeah.
Like whales and
It's,
mountains.
it's definitely a commitment, right?
Right.
It is, and I still really like that stuff, and I'm sure I would find a tattoo or an artist that I loved, but I'm missing that last piece of having to have it
Right.
forever.
Right.
So maybe one day, but I'm not motivated anymore. I'm not doing it for the aesthetic like I used to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's definitely more for the concept, right? Like
Yeah.
it's for the idea of it more than anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a good reminder of things, I guess. It's almost like having a mantra.
It's like having your last name tattooed on your back,
Okay, not like that.
so you can remind yourself
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
time.
Exactly. It's interesting because I think people think about them in different ways. It's like a way to represent an artist or an interest or a symbol, or just to have one as a sit. Like some people just get a lot because they enjoy the process of it, or
And from what I understand, it's pretty addictive or addicting. Like
I think
the
you
idea, the process, and
You kind of lose the your barrier that you have to getting them.
yeah,
It's like, why start? But then once you start, it's like, oh, okay, why not keep going?
yeah,
right.
yeah. I've seen people get them in crazy bunches before. It's like
'Cause
they
you
get one, and then
pay-
all of a sudden it's exactly a ton of money.
Yeah.
But you also when I got little ones, I would get them in multiples because once they open that pack of needles, you're paying for it
Yeah.
regardless of how much you get done
Yeah.
to a certain point.
Yeah.
So you might as well
Yeah, it's
just
an
get a
hourly
bunch.
thing, right? Yeah.
There's like a flat fee for all of the for having
Materials.
to make sure that everything is sterile and new needles and new whatever.
Right.
We had
So
a
you
guy on
pay
our campus
starting.
that did tattoos.
Perfect.
Pretty
Okay.
sure he did it with like Staples, prison style.
That's
yeah.
what I'm going to do whenever I go down to Peru.
He did
I'm gonna
good
get a
work,
traditional
though.
One.
Oh yeah, with the chisels.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And just
Right across my chest.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get a tribal tat,
Uh-huh.
like an actual tribal tat.
Uh-huh. It's still
Like a-
going to be barbed wire, though.
a bra.
How do you say barbed wire and Inca?
Exactly.
Gross.
So what are you guys working on? You guys have both been working on things way more.
It's funny.
than
I
have been.
named the episode or the live stream "Marine Mammals or Bust," but you're not doing mammals. You're just doing marine animals right now.
I guess bust then.
Yeah, bust.
I don't know. You say that like
Bust a
I've
bust.
been working on stuff, but I haven't done.
Bullshit.
Aside from those
You
little
just,
guys,
You
that-
just busted out that squid,
That
which was the
squid-
most impressive thing you've
And-
probably ever done.
And the BB-8.
okay.
You've done both of those since we last recorded an episode.
Yes, but BB-8.
You had started
I
it
had
before,
paused
but
on
you
it for
I mean,
weeks.
but you still did a ton of work.
Yes,
to
I
pull it all
finally
together.
finished that. I just felt like I had this really long period of just not burnout, but being so just not inspired to draw anything.
Mhm.
BB-8, I was really inspired to start it, and then when I saw how hard and I couldn't get the details the way that I absolutely wanted them, and I just kind of burned it. I think I went too hard on the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but then I kind of felt like I was drawing it for other people
Yeah.
at the end, and then I didn't want to do anything.
That makes sense.
So then I skipped drawing a commission that I'm supposed to be doing to draw a squid that I really wanted to draw. all
That
of a
turned
sudden.
into the commission.
And then Katrina, who was going to commission me for a whale, just bought the squid instead. So now I'm back to kind of trying not to take on any form of structure and just draw what I want to draw,
Yeah.
because that tends to work out a lot
Because
better.
it's been a while. I feel like it's been a while at least, or maybe I'm just not thinking of things correctly, but it seems like it's been a while since you've dabbled back into the marine life.
It has been, and I did that whole poll about the African dog or the frog, and then even that felt like too much pressure to draw, and it was out of the two animals that I picked as options, and then I was like, no, I don't want to draw it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make something up. And then I've gotten back into the fish and things with bright colors.
So BB-8, I think, is a good topic of how you talked about essentially, I don't know if you would call it biting off more than you could chew, or at the time extending yourself too much and being like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much work and not as much fun to do. And I've abandoned a handful of projects out in the garage that it's because I'm like, okay, I can get this done. And then at a certain point, it stops being fun, even though I know the end result is going to be really rewarding. It's at the same time, it's like, I know there's lower hanging fruit that I can have more fun with that I'd rather do right now. And I can get back to that at some point.
Yeah, BB-8 was no personal style. I mean, it still had my lines and
Yeah.
my colors and stuff, but I was trying to draw it based off of what he looks like.
Right.
And he looks his circles and everything are very specific. There's no,
Yeah.
and I probably could have done it in a more creative
Abstract way.
Yeah. But I just wanted to get it perfect, like what he looks like. And then drawing the squid the other day and just getting to make it up was just so much more fun and motivating. And
how do you balance those two things? Because this is going to sound like or I don't know. I don't even know what you want to call it. I'm stuttering, but like blowing smoke. But that perfection of those little details, I feel like, is part of your style. So what about BB-8 and the perfection of having to get all of that correct is different than, even though you created the patterns of the squid and, you know, your stained glass design whenever you do certain things, like my favorite thing, the orange octopus. How are those different like how different are those in a way? Because one of them is prescriptive, right? I mean, the BB-8 he has his markings, he has his buttons, he has everything. But at the same time, is it just that you're making it up as you go?
Yeah, BB-8 people can look at it and say that's not what it looks like, or that circle's not, that doesn't go there, that button's not there. Trying to get all of that stuff perfect, and then the lines are so JP. The lines are so skinny that if I made one too thick, then I just felt like the scales were tipping and I was ruining it. Whereas the squid, if I felt like I messed up a patch, no one's ever going to notice that because I made it up. There's no right way to draw that squid.
But I mean, in a way there is, right? Because it is a reference to a bobtail squid.
Yeah. But they're so, I don't know, they're so crazy looking. All of these fish and animals that I draw, I look at hundreds of pictures of the same species that look completely different and just pick ones that I like the best.
Yeah.
So there's no
it's an amalgamation of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different parts from different animals who's got prettier colors.
We call that a chimera, right? Is that what it's called?
The monster?
Yeah. It's like it's part, what is it? Part eagle, part lion. What are the three parts of the chimera? Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Dragon, lion, and eagle. Yeah.
It's all of the like prey animals for, I mean, it's kind of what a dragon is in some regards, is the same thing, right? Like it's all of the predatory animals that would prey on humans.
The Joe Rumley is saying part Cthulhu. What? Does the chimera have?
No. He's joking. He's joking.
Maybe my bobtail squid is the Cthulhu. Right? Isn't that guy a squid?
Yeah, he's like a squid man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's his
Squidward?
Squidward.
Squidward. Now you're thinking about from Futurama?
No. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who did
Zoidberg,
who created Cthulhu.
Zoidberg.
Yeah, Zoidberg. No, so there's like something to be said about, even if you are following along with an image, a reference image of a organic. Is it like, does that make a difference to you? Organic versus robotic?
But even robotic, I feel like you could get into a flow state if it's just a original idea versus coming up with a system of patterns and organization freeform. Like, you know, like the difference is the source material, I think, is that the source material for something in pop culture is so specific.
Yeah.
Versus,
because you aren't the one that created it, right?
Like you have to be true to the source material in some regard. That said, I think that there's some ways for some pop culture references that could still be employed, you know, for certain textures, for certain things, but other things are so specific that if it's not applied to it, it's gonna look off. Versus the infill, which is sort of that creative process of filling in things with patterning and just getting into a flow state of something that's visually appealing and being able to have the creative process instilled in that versus just copying something directly.
And I had also had a lot of people ask me to draw BB-8, and I wanted people to like it and want to buy it. And so I was trying so hard are these people going to want this version of it? Is this what they like? As opposed to just, I want to draw BB-8 and let's see if I can put my own style on it and kind of maybe lose some of the detail.
Right.
That would have
I
been
need to go
different.
grab a new battery. I guess the battery is exhausted.
Well,
He's exhausted.
he's had a
You
long
guys keep
night.
talking.
He's had a long night. So you've been busy. You knocked out 2 big things, and you've already started on another one this week. I saw.
Yes, it's a trigger fish.
What is that?
They're these fish that they have a top. I don't know what to call their fins, but they've got a top fin and a bottom fin, and they move from side to side.
Okay.
That's what propels them.
Gotcha.
And they just have this really distinct way, and they usually both go to the
Opposite.
same side.
Oh, same.
They
side.
go with each other. My hands can't even do it. They go like that. So it just looks.
No.
It looks so weird when they swim. Yeah. And there's tons of different species, and they all have crazy colors, and they're reef fish, and they're just
Okay.
and they have teeth because they feed on the coral, and they're known for biting.
Gotcha.
Like a
They're-
parrotfish.
They're little monsters.
But you also drew something else this past weekend. The nudibranch.
The nudes.
Show me your nudes.
I don't think I saw that.
A nudibranch. Tim got me a book.
Oh wait,
of-
yeah, I did see that.
invertebrates.
Yes.
So
I did
that
see
started some of the like new ideas.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm getting more back into the scientific names and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, we have art shows coming up in March, and we have 2 in March, right?
Yes.
And you guys aren't in one this weekend, but there is one in Atlanta.
Yeah, where's it
Yes.
at? It's at some
Callenwald?
some old mansion, right?
Callenwald Art Center. I think it's in the Highlands. And it's just a
Okay.
really old house. and
Ooh,
they
you know what else
hold-
is in the Highlands?
DBA
Highland Woodworking.
barbecue.
DBA, yeah.
I'm going there and getting wings before I go to that.
But Highland Woodworking.
But
Okay,
smoked
bye.
wings.
Smoked wings.
I can't remember the last time. See, I don't like smoked wings.
What is wrong with you?
I like my wings super crispy.
I like some crispy. No, I agree.
Yeah. Like the little wings from the Mexican places that do them.
You like them shaped like dinosaurs?
Yeah. Oh, dude. You know what's crazy? Throw those in an air fryer. Whole new ball game.
Oh, I know. I had them this past weekend. Changed my life.
Did you throw a kid cuisine in there too?
Kid cousin, you mean?
Kid cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Throw some Uncrustables in the air fryer.
Oh, we have some
my
at work?
God.
Yep, that's
Just
happening tomorrow.
It's the empanada that we never got to have.
Oh, God.
That's what it was meant to be.
It was
Peanut
meant
butter
to be.
and
Yeah.
jelly
Exactly.
empanada.
We did that one time and it burned our. I'm
Yeah, because
surprised that we still have our vocal cords.
There was a hole inside the empanada shell, so all the grease just went in there.
Oh, God.
and then hot peanut butter, molten peanut butter just
hot.
Shoots when you bite it.
yeah,
Gross.
it was not great.
Now, what we should have done is made it and then like flash froze it so that it still had a nice crispy shell
Yeah,
that inside.
yeah.
It's
Mm.
tricky. It's tricky being so complicated. All right, so
Woodworking.
woodworking, Highland Woodworking, and woodworking.
I built my first set of
pursuits.
drawers,
I know.
Yeah.
draws.
You've been making a
Oh.
lot of shit the past few weeks.
Mm.
Both of you guys.
Trying. Yeah, I built out drawers for the workbench and got familiar with putting in drawer slides and building out boxes and like essentially just making boxes with pocket holes with plywood and then putting bottoms on them and MDF and getting spacing right, putting show fronts, learning how to put on cabinet hardware and all that stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's rewarding. But then at the end of it, when I put everything when I filled those up and there's still so much shit just lying
Yeah.
around, I know that cabinets are next.
Right.
I have enough like leftover plywood from the drawer project that I can build at least one cabinet to go put up on the wall. Do
Nice.
some open face cabinets for right now. Hang them on French cleats so I can move them around if need be, if we don't want them in a certain corner or putting them in a room versus anyway. Yeah, Angie's dad built out some French cleat cabinets and storage in his garage, and that's exactly what I want to do. But I want to get rid of the stuff that I have right now in terms of using it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of that stuff.
Coffee table.
Coffee table. Made the mistake of bought pine. We're just doing it like we did the podcast table.
Yeah.
With 2x12s, and I didn't really run them through the planer to get them flat as much as just to get them to the same thickness. So anyway, there's a lot of gaps and twists and like unevenness. So I bought a hand power planer from Harbor Freight, and I was thinking just run it down, get them, get rid of the seams and everything. It creates like a step. So every time you plane, it creates like a hard step. It's like, this isn't the right tool for this. So I spent a good bit of time sanding and getting that to where it's not noticeable, but there are dips, like little dips in the table now.
Yeah.
You can't really see them though, because I haven't noticed them. Normally,
we'll see once we start putting stuff on it. But
it's got to be better than the benches we've got out there now, because I've already dumped a full coffee off of it and walk into those.
You gave yourself up. I've been telling people it was me.
You did the one in here.
Yeah, I did the one in here. Yeah. Yeah, so working on that. So I'm going to do a 2-tiered coffee table. Right now, just working on the tabletop. I have it pretty seamless. Had to fill in the gaps a little bit with, I don't have a jointer, so getting edge joints, I'm kind of relying on the table saw. It's not as accurate and getting everything as flush. But yeah, just learning that stuff. Like building a nice, flat, good-looking tabletop for the first time and getting things kind of seamless. And then putting like chunky 4x4 legs on the outsides, making it kind of rustic looking. Hopefully should have that. The problem I'm running into is every time I go to Home Depot, the 4x4s are all chewed up. Like they're one of the first things to go.
Yeah.
And I guess because people are using them for like posts and that sort of thing. So they're really quick to go. So they're all like, when I get there, they're all pink, like new, or like young pine.
Yeah.
So it's all pink and chewed up, and there's not good selection. So I'm having, struggling with that. Yeah. But using the shit out of the pocket hole jig that she got me
that's great.
Yeah. Just learning how to do all that, and pocket holes are pretty amazing. And I know a lot of people dog them because they're easy way of doing joinery. They're kind of a cheat in a way, but it works.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah. I'm going to fire up the CNC machine again.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've worked on that one.
Yeah. I'm going to start making some home signs.
Yeah.
Start posting those.
Awesome.
Maybe put them up for sale.
Awesome.
And barrel signs. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
How much longer do you have on your home drawing?
I don't know, man. One of the things I've been struggling with is trying to manage my schedule. It's like I was so productive throughout October and at the end of the year, but all I was doing was drawing.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm trying to make an effort to eat better, to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, like be really focused on work, get to bed at a decent time. And it takes out of the schedule. And then I've also got like odd and end stuff around the house that I'm trying to do. Even though I didn't work on anything, I painted 2 rooms. I've also been traveling some lately. So it's all good things. Absolutely. But I'm trying to get my schedule kind of figured out. And I think that's where I come back to, like, so much of my schedule right now is based on the fact that I've got this trip to Peru coming up. Like once that's over, I'm not going to be so much of me going to the gym as much as I am right now is trying to get my body in a place that I can hike for 4 days up and down tough terrain and not be carrying any extra weight on me than I need, and just be dietarily in a better place for that whole process. So I think some of that stuff will change and adjust whenever I get back. And then also just maybe change the way that I'm preparing food and stuff like that. Rather than cooking every night, maybe it's just a couple of times a week, and then I've got food prepped so that I can spend more time working on art other nights or whatever. And then also just trying to find ways to incorporate it into everything else that's going on. So yeah.
We've been doing that. I feel like January, the whole month, we focused on going to the gym and cooking and going to the grocery store and not going to restaurants, eating really well, going to bed super early. And I did almost no art.
Right.
Because that was my whole focus. And I got super into it. And then it started kind of fade away at the end of January. And now it's a little bit more loosey goosey. We're back to going to restaurants on the weekend, and I've started doing more art because
Right.
I'm not prioritizing going to the gym or the grocery store.
Yeah.
But then I just cooked 6 pounds of chicken breast last night, so that
helps.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but I know that that's a big. It's not for a lack of wanting to do those things, and the stuff that I can honestly say that the stuff that I'm spending my. So here's the thing: it's like even though I'm not doing the art stuff, I'm still doing it whenever I can and trying to make time for it. The other big thing is work has been fucking crazy. So 60-hour work weeks also makes it really tough to come home and want to draw and do
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it too. What I can say is that I feel like I'm in a different place now than I maybe was before this whole pursuit and endeavor took place, where I'm not just putting it off for other worse pursuits or something. Like I feel like I'm still in a better space, even if I'm not doing the art stuff as much as I'd like to. I'm still finding time to do that, and maybe I need to find a little bit more balancing, which will happen. It's just a matter of trying to fine tune things now, even though it's not completely out of balance, where I'm not eating good, I'm not going to the gym.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is just passing time away, and I'm not drawing or doing anything creatively either. And I'm, working a ton and stressed out a ton and all that. The other stuff that I'm doing too is like going and doing the sauna once a week, doing the float tank, just trying to take care of myself, which the art stuff is a part of that too. And so it's just finding a balance between all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
and spending time with people.
Yeah. Sometimes too much art, too much solo time
Right.
is just a crutch to not have to deal with the other stuff. Or
Right.
Yeah.
Spending time with people, I think, is
And you
important,
burn
too.
out.
Absolutely.
It's been nice to take a step away and kind of find stuff that I want to draw again, that I'm just making up or picking up on the spot.
Right.
As opposed to trying to draw for markets or for specific people, or feeling like I need to get this for the next one.
Yeah, it's coming at a good time too, because we do have art markets coming up.
But I think maybe if we picked like these 2 days a week are definite hobby days. These
That's a
3
good way to
days a
go.
week are gym days. And then if you've got extra time for hobbies around there, awesome. But
Right.
I think that would help me if I created. I'm very into
That's a good way to go.
scheduling and spreadsheets
Yep.
and being
Yep.
able to like check stuff off.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to go with that too.
Might help.
If you dedicate days to things, I think that helps for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we spent a lot, like Saturday. Was it Saturday or was it Sunday? Where we mostly were dedicated. When did you do the neuter brink? Sunday?
Yes.
And I was out in the garage for a good bit of
Yeah.
before Super Bowl.
We've also had our first couple of weekends where we really didn't have anything to do. And so we did nothing.
Yeah.
And it was great. But now trying to get back into that and not just be all or nothing. Either we're slammed and we have a market all weekend, or we have nothing and we do nothing.
Yeah.
Trying to kind of,
Yeah, there are plenty of things that should be keeping us busy.
or at least just going to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, we did start off the year in very cliche fashion,
Yeah.
going to the gym a lot, and then it's kind of fallen off.
But I think ultimately, again, I come back to the fact that it's like, what are all of these pursuits really? What's at the heart of all of these pursuits, which is some personal, independent well-being and outlook on life. Like that's ultimately what the fulfillment is in doing those creative pursuits, is for me anyway, is the ability to step outside of the day-to-day and be in the moment with something that I'm completely involved in. And that's all I'm thinking about, and letting my mind wander and play in some regard, right? The other aspects of that, even though it may not be like drawing, it's also taking place. If that's hanging out with friends and family, I'm in the moment and doing something that I know is inherently good for me and my well-being. If I'm going to the gym, I'm in a similar condition where it's not a social interaction, but I'm in an independent pursuit and endeavor that is going to benefit me because I'm allowing my mind to wander and play and not be so hung up on just reactionary stuff. And same thing with cooking. Like cooking's another aspect of that. Like there's some creative pursuit involved in that. And all of those things are all kind of getting to the same intention. And it's just a matter of finding a balance between all of it. And what works best this week may not be what works best next week. And to your point, you know, sometimes we're not exactly inspired to do creative pursuits in one way versus feeling like I'm feeling really good right now physically and stuff like that. So it's like I want to keep doing that because I'm seeing really big benefits in it. But at the same time, there are some things that I want to do creatively that I want to make sure I make some time for. So
it's like I'm gonna say like I need to learn 3D modeling.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
That makes my life a lot easier. It's a new outlet. I'm not good with drawing, so having a computer program that can spit stuff out the way that I need it to at the dimensions that I need it to will be very beneficial.
Right.
But it's one of those things like I know what I need to do to learn it.
Right.
Just sitting down for an hour and a half, 2-hour course on YouTube. It's not very.
So that's an interesting thing.
Enticing.
That's an interesting thing to think about, and maybe that's a way I could structure something, and maybe you could too. Is that so much of what I think about creatively is like the working on the finished product, right? And having a product that I'm working on and seeing through, whether it's the Inktober thing or the No Place Like Home or the Squid or whatever. Like you start something and then you just kind of work through the delivery process of that. But there's another aspect of it, which is maybe where you find the enjoyment in the Squid is, or those other things where you find those organic, like you find the techniques inside of the bigger thing.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's less about, especially right now, or in these times where my schedule isn't allowing for me to dedicate the time to the big thing, the big piece, but to focus like my lunch break on working on some techniques for a component of that. So that because you know this from doing your stuff, you'll spend a considerable amount of time working on the technique that's going to be applied to the bigger thing that is a valid and important aspect of that. So for you, same thing as me, is like, if I'm working on No Place Like Home, like I could definitely be working more on my poche and ink and techniques for things that I want to, like poche is just like stippling and cross hatching and stuff like that for how to add texture and stuff to drawing. And there's a lot of different techniques you can do with that, with inking and stuff like that, or coloring and shading. There's a lot of technique stuff in application for these projects that I want to work on, but I'm not getting hung up on, I've got so much of this big project I want to do, and I can kind of work on these components of it so that whenever I do find the time to work on the big thing, it's just applying that stuff. It could be the same thing with the 3D modeling, is it's like, spend an hour or two on a regular basis, just kind of working through some of the techniques or some of the building blocks to that.
Yeah, because for me, that's really the only outlet I would have. I watch tons of YouTube videos, and I know it sounds silly, but it's inspiration and it's also research.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of time. Like I'm trying to reconcile the time wasting portion of it with the actual takeaways that I get from it. But yeah, I mean, I can't sit there and like whittle like on my lunch break.
Right.
I have to do something like on the computer, or drawing. But
so that could be something. Yeah, same thing. I just need to bring a notepad to work, and because that's what I did with Inktober. Like that's what made. I mean, I feel like I'm finding through talking about it, I'm finding some validation for this process, which is that's what Inktober. What allowed me to make Inktober successful as a project for myself was that I had a roadmap and I had the application before I sat down to work on the finished piece. So I knew what all the components were going to be, and I would kind of think through it. And then during my lunch breaks or free time, I would sketch out concepts and just get what that character or that component was going to be. And then whenever I sat down to work on the big thing, all I had to do was just adapt and apply to wherever that location was. And so from that standpoint, I think that could also be applicable for this other project that I want to start working on, or other ones for that matter, you know?
Yeah.
So what do you guys got coming up that you're working on to that point?
Coffee table, bar, a matching bar to go behind the couch.
Tim's first bar.
Yeah.
About time.
Yeah. Just a lot of shop projects. Like I've been watching, I spent a good bit yesterday on the plane watching, cabinet tutorials, building cabinets. Seems pretty straightforward. Conceptually, seems pretty easy. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, like just getting organized.
Yeah.
Got a lot of house projects we want to do.
That's the other thing. I painted some bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah.
It's like
this room can definitely use a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
Along with this entire side of the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Angie?
I need to finish my fish, and then I want to.
When do you think you'll be done with the fish? The huma nuka nuka apua.
No, that's the turtles, right? Isn't that what he's calling the sea turtles?
No, I'm pretty sure it's the triggerfish is huma nua nua.
Okay, you might be right because it does have huma in some of the scientific name. I need to get the fish done, and then I think I'll probably be able to start coloring it tomorrow, and then hopefully work on the lining of it through the weekend. So maybe this weekend.
It's humu nuku nuku apua. Yes, it is. Huma numa nuba. Huma nuka
What's that
nuka.
from?
Please
It's
stop
forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then saying
Sea
all
turtle
this
fucking season.
Yeah.
and talking about art markets makes me realize I have to go back through all of that inventory, and I never planned out like a new display for this year or any.
We'll figure that out.
those
That's definitely in the
things.
plans right now in terms of projects to do as displays.
Yeah.
We'll figure. That's not hard though.
No, I mean we could make it work.
It's
with
a
what we
shelf with
already
two
have.
legs. Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's not like once we figure out how we want to do it or what we want to do it with, it won't take too long to do. We just have to figure out what's like most cost. We have the truck now, so we don't have to
we
worry
have a
about
truck.
don't have to worry about stuffing tons of stuff into the back of the
Into your trunk.
into the back of the SUVs.
Into your cargo space.
So much payload.
Oh, good thing it's got that weatherproof lining on it.
You guys, stop. I'm being so good over here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll focus for now. I don't want to lose my momentum on actually creating new art. And I just realized I was zoning out into the light, but it looks like I'm zoning out into the camera. So if anybody's actually watching, I'm sorry. Yeah, now that I finally started drawing again, I'll try not to focus on the setup of the tent until later.
Yeah. I got lots of sanding to do.
So much sand.
Sanding. Yeah.
Gets everywhere.
I'll post progress shots though. Like Angie's really good about posting progress shots of her drawings.
Yeah.
I need to do the same thing when I'm out in the shop. But like I keep having these ideas of, I want to do something on YouTube, do like whatever, do videos of builds and all that. And then I get out there and I just want to build shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and set up tripods and have to focus on shots. And
I've noticed also, and I don't know if I'm just making this up, but I feel like on Instagram, if I post progression shots, people aren't as excited by the final product as they are if they just had no idea it was coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
So I'll try and post, like I did just post my pencil sketch in my stories, but sometimes I'll only post little parts of it so that there's still some surprise element to it. Otherwise, people are like, I've seen this thing 4 times. It's not that.
So I posted what very different stages of building that coffee tabletop the other day, but what ended up looking probably to the naked eye like the same exact picture twice. It's like, okay.
But
maybe
you know what it is.
You know
what you did.
Yeah. What about you? When are you going to start working on that again? Tonight when you get home?
No.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Definitely not.
Definitely,
maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Try to get some time. I'm definitely working on stuff this weekend.
Got big fights this weekend.
I got Valentine's Day coming up.
Next weekend.
Dun,
We're going to a dirt bike race.
Yeah, we're spending Valentine's Day weekend going to dirt bike racing. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea what to expect.
Have you ever,
but our
have you
friend,
ever
no.
seen it before?
No. Have you?
I've been to one.
Yeah.
They're fun.
My parents took us when we were kids. I don't know why, because that's not my parents at all, but it was awesome.
It's
They're
a
fun.
Really
certain
liked it.
type that Rob does. Our buddy Rob does enduro races, I think is what it is. It's up in Young Harris, Georgia, on the border of Georgia and Tennessee. So we're going to be up there next Saturday. It would be fun. It should be fun.
We're gonna drive the truck.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be great.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be really great.
I've never gotten on a dirt bike.
I've ridden a few. Not like Rob does, but I've ridden all of those.
He's
like,
riding them shits in the
outside
Alps
things.
and all
Oh,
that
fuck
whenever
that.
he's over in Europe,
Yeah.
whenever he was stationed over there.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
He does like those, I think the Romaniac
Shout
race.
out to Hannah, by the way, for all the fucking
gunship.
Yeah. Yeah. That today I was like, what?
Wait, what did she do? I missed it.
She posted on her story one of those when she does like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon magic
Ribbons.
Yeah.
ribbons thing.
Yeah,
But she had the Dark All Day by Gunship playing on one of them.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah. Valentine's Day next weekend. I'm very excited.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we have our friendship date on Sunday.
Oh yeah, we do. We do.
How many people are going on it, Kevin?
I get a +1, right?
Yeah.
That's what RSVP means.
Oh my god.
Kevin's blushing.
Okay, stop. This is stupid. Yes, that is another reason why my productive pursuits have been not put on the back burner. I don't want to say that because that's definitely not been the case. It's just been another part of my life that's been very great and
Much more productive.
also very fulfilling.
Yeah. What fills the hole?
Oh my
That's
god.
You took a nice moment and you
made
ruined
it better.
it. You took Kevin from blushing to just still
To
blushing.
being himself.
Now he feels more
Trying to make him
comfortable.
Yes.
More.
Try to make him feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been. Oh, fuck. What? How long is this?
We've been going for 45 minutes.
Okay, so it's time to end it. It sounds good. Sounds real great.
This is the best Kevin yet. 2020's Kevin's year.
Yeah,
It's the year of us.
that's it.
Some people
So-
say it's the year of the rat, but I say it's the year of the Kevin.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Or a rat named Kevin.
You know, well, both are probably true.
I just have this image now of this whole cartoon that you're gonna have to create.
Well, I am gonna do that comic strip. That's one of the things I want to do. I've got to make
Beef
little,
and cheddar.
Yeah, I've got to make a couple characters for roast beef and cheddar, and because of everything that's been going on, I feel like my friendship with Angie has blossomed into a whole new level of camaraderie over the past few months, and
Oh.
we were talking about some of the things related to my +1, and I was saying that I feel weird because I'm having to talk about a lot of parts of myself, and it's just everything that goes with new relationships and things like that. And she said that she's had this vision for this like stick figure cartoon of, how did you describe
No,
it?
I want to hear you because I sent it to you through G chat, so there was no inflection in it,
Yeah.
and I was a little bit afraid that the context wasn't going to come off
Yeah.
the way in my voices or how I was
Yeah.
saying it. So I want to hear how you interpreted
So to
it.
me, I took it as like, so it's two characters, like two stick figure characters. The first one goes like, oh, I'm too much to bear. I've got all this baggage. And the other person goes, oh, okay. You want to go watch TV?
That's
And
really good.
so I have I want to do that with roast beef and cheddar. Like,
And roast beef
but
and
it's just like
cheddar
a
are-
mountain of trash
Yeah.
bags behind one of them.
Roast
I-
beef and cheddar are
I just
Kevin's
have
trash
so
animals.
much baggage
Yeah.
you don't understand.
Right. And so it's roast beef being my possum vermin and cheddar being the raccoon that comes around the house, both of them.
But the raccoon's
So-
not vermin?
No, he's cute. He's got his little hands. They're both vermin. Let's be
How
honest.
dare you slate possums
I
like
was gonna
that?
say, if I had to be like surprised in the backyard by a possum or a raccoon, I'd pick the possum every time.
They're
slow
both
moving.
hilarious.
They're not gonna attack you. You don't know what kind of raccoon you're getting. They're
true.
too fast
That's a
and
good point.
bitey and
That's a
handsy.
good point.
So bitey.
Yeah,
Go for the little possum that can't really even see what's going on.
that's a good point. So yeah, I need to work on that. That's another pursuit. It's tough. That one I might be able to do in my free time on my lunch. Maybe that's what I'll do. Is I can come up if I come up with a couple of characters. That's an easy thing for me to do versus these like this project that I want to work on. There's No Place Like Home thing where it's going to be a lot more involved and a little bit more time consuming versus doing little comic strips for these characters. Because the other part of everything that's been going on is I feel like I've been observing my life more from a an objective third party position of how I'm moving through my relationships and friendships and work and everything. And so I've already started to create this weird narrative structure and to have these two characters to kind of talk about the things that I'm going through and that's going on could be really fun,
Yeah. And they're just easy and
right. Just like it's like my Calvin and Hobbes, basically.
Your beef and cheddar.
Exactly.
We got the meats.
Exactly.
Yeah. Arby's is going to come after you
no,
with everything that they have.
Definitely not.
And they have all the meats.
It's true.
You're going to get Meat Mountain.
It's gonna
what were we watching where they were interviewing managers and owners of Arby's and they were asking them how many times people actually call and ask if they have the meats? And they get like, what was it, like between 5 and 10 prank calls a day asking if they have the meat?
Well, that was on Seinfeld on Comedians in Cars.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
they did it. They went into Arby's
That's right.
and they made them say it. And they were like, yeah, that happens all day.
Jesus.
It's all day.
But that's like the nicest prank call you could get.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have the meats.
It's true.
Yep.
We have them.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Is that how we're going to end Kevin's segment with we have the meats?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds really good, guys.
Maybe podcast next Sunday. Wow.
No, you guys got to start grilling. You got to get the grill ready.
Oh yeah. It's the George Foreman from top and bottom.
What?
You guys got a griller.
I was like, I know the weather's getting better. Why do we have to start grilling all of a sudden? I didn't hear the her at all until the end.
Yeah.
We're past that ship has sailed, Kevin.
It's gone.
Yeah, there's no. Oh no, her favorite color is blue.
Oh,
like, what are we gonna find out now that?
Where are the bodies?
She doesn't have all of the meat.
Oh no.
There are no. Yeah. Honestly, we're gonna get more of our answers from you than we are from her. From our observations.
So, what are your observations? What do you guys think about me right now? Let's talk about this.
Yes. Yeah. No one's gonna have gotten this far into the episode.
Exactly.
Like the last.
Nobody's listening to this. Everybody's here for Atlanta United.
Stacy though and tell her to get on here. What minute we at?
Just what is happening right now? This is the worst.
It's fine. Nobody's here.
Brian's saying hi.
Here.
Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
We love you, Brian. If you don't just somehow show up at these next two art markets across the street from where we are, I'm going to be really disappointed.
53rd minute. Okay.
53rd minute.
53rd.
What minute did you say 53rd minute? So we can go back and figure out what minute we were in.
What?
Because we didn't write it down.
I mean, how specific are we allowed to get?
I don't care. My life's an open book.
Here's old Kevin. And when I say old Kevin, I'm talking literally like 2 months ago, Kevin.
2 months ago?
Yeah, these are things that you used to say. You had so many qualms and old man tendencies. And you
I'm going to let the wise one speak and just sit back and listen.
I'm interested to hear what Tim thinks too, because this has been the interesting thing is that, so I've been very open that my life has taken some twists and turns over the past 6 months. And what's been an interesting part of that is the way that I've observed my friendship dynamics with everybody, you guys obviously, and then other friends, observing what your perspectives are on the things that are happening. And with you two, I'm always talking to both of you at the same time. So it's interesting that like you'll have such differing opinions on some things, but at the same time be very similar in your thought processes. It's just coming from different places. Tim has been very protective. Like Tim has been very much mama bear in this whole process. Whereas you've been more mama bird, is like fly.
Fly, fix it and fly.
Okay, now continue. Sorry.
Wait, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I said I'm gonna let you talk.
Nothing. Okay, old man Kevin with his scruples.
No, scruples.
Scruples?
Yeah, it's like you having standards and
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious I don't have
like
standards.
credibility, right?
I definitely don't have any
Isn't that
credibility.
what scruples is? Like credibility and standards and
Yeah, I
don't
guess
have either
you're
of
right. With
those.
your morals and your scruples. Okay, fine. Sorry, that's the wrong word. You had all of these hesitations.
she's saying you don't have any scruples.
Exactly.
You didn't. You didn't.
I have
and
no
that's
morals.
How
no...
we got here.
God.
I'm kidding. But you were willing to overlook so much stuff. But you had all of these walls of like, this is my house. I will not leave this house. I love this house. And I was saying to Tim, I was like, we both have things that we love, but same with other people and their dream jobs and being willing to compromise. And I don't have a dream job or a dream house that doesn't involve Tim in it. So if that's still a priority or a big deal, it means that other things are not what they should be. What else?
Just think about all the ways I'm terrible.
It's not all the ways you're terrible. It's all the things that you were hesitant to do or unwilling to do or say, or you just weren't. I don't know. We just wanted to see this Kevin who if you asked him, like, is this it? Is this great? You would be like, oh my gosh, yes. Instead of, well, we're I don't know. We've got to figure things out. Like everybody's got to figure things out.
Yeah.
But that's not the first thing that should pop into your head. So now we're finally seeing the Kevin that's just turning red and giggly and screaming all the time. Like what? Just like happy panicking.
Yeah.
And the house is still important. Like your house can always be a big deal, but it's not the most important thing. You're not throwing it up as your last wall of protection.
Yeah.
It's no longer the deciding factor. It's now just a factor, and we'll decide around it because there are other things that are more great.
Right.
You're finally saying all of the right things in response to our questions, basically.
Okay. What about you, Papa Bear?
This is weird.
It is weird.
This is weird.
Yeah, imagine how it feels for me.
But it's weird in the best way because we went from not great to yes, Kevin, yes, as opposed to being like, but before you said this and now you're no, these are all great things, but it is still hard to like say it to your face.
I feel like it's weird because as much as I joke about the fact that I had this weird fear that nobody would want to hang out with me if my life wasn't some weird drama, that I recognized that there was a lot of things that I was perpetuating based on my actions or the things that I was doing that was facilitating that and perpetuating my own state of not really being happy or not doing the things that I knew I needed to do for and by myself and stuff like that. And with other people for that matter, whether it's friendships or work or otherwise. And so for the first time now, it's like, I don't feel like, I mean, I know things will happen as life does. Like there's going to be wrenches that are going to come and blindside me and I'm going to have to figure shit out. But I don't feel like the world is too big to carry anymore. in a weird way. And the first time I've felt like that in a long time. And yes, these things and Stacy and stuff like that is a part of that, but it's a part of a bigger picture, I feel like, which is a comprehensive approach to things rather than this compartmentalized expectations, goals, and everything. And these are the constraints, and this is what it's going to be. And then everything's going to have to fit into this box or something like that. It's like set good and high intentions and then just see things through and let them happen as they're going to happen.
I think this is why I don't have any questions for Stacy that she's going to answer that's going to change my opinion, because that's just her her personality. I already think she's great. Her favorite color is not going to affect what I think of her, but what affects,
it's green, by the way, if that's
what I think, it does help. I'll use that. Thank you. I thought it was blue. What my opinion of Stacy is based off of you, and this being the best version of Kevin we've seen. I mean, I've only been around for 3 years.
That's what I need to know from you, fuckface, by the way.
Whoa.
You have seen every version of Kevin in every fucking relationship.
Likewise. Or vice versa. Not likewise.
There's some versions of Tim I haven't seen yet.
It's the episode of New Girl.
Valentine's Day.
But you've seen, so it's interesting to your point. It's like, whenever I met Angie, it was at the end of one relationship that blindsided me in a lot of ways. And then through the beginnings of a new relationship that changed me. And I went through that process and ultimately wasn't what it ended, obviously. And so, and then again, you're seeing a different version of that new relationship starting. You have seen the rise and fall of Kevin tenfold over the past 15 years throughout each iteration. And I'm not here to get you to patronize me or to validate me in any way. I'm genuinely interested to hear what your perspective has been on me, both as an individual and inside of the starting of things and all of that.
So I've been, as you could say, I've been protective, right? But my reaction to the things you've been telling me lately is I've been giddy's probably not the right term to use, but I've been very happy to hear the responses and hear about stuff, the goings on. And so I've seen you. This is gonna sound so bad. I don't want to say okay.
This is what I want. The badness fuels me. Please, I need it.
No. This has nothing to do with you necessarily, because you don't know the shit whenever you're in it. Like, you can't see the forest for the trees when you're in it. I think we've all been in that scenario, right? Where you perpetuate being in something because you're not seeing the problems, or you shake them away, whatever, push them to the side because you feel like, for the greater good of what you're going through, or the greater good of the relationship that you're in, the bad parts that you're experiencing, you can deal with them, whatever. Yeah, it's not a good mindset to be in. But I've seen you controlled, and I've seen you be willing, and I was with you whenever you broke that in college.
Yeah.
I was actually staying with you when that happened.
Yeah.
And then we went and had 10 apple pies from McDonald's one of those nights. Yeah. It was very good. I've seen you extremely anxious for different reasons. And I've seen you bargain with yourself. And I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Granted, it's early, but I saw it early on in the others. And I think that just makes me happy to not see you have to justify things, even if you're just saying them out loud to reconcile it with yourself. You're not anxious. You're giddy, not anxious. You're not worried about things.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way I can put it, is because I've seen, yeah, and we've both seen each other broken
Right.
points, right? But this is the most hopeful too,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't even know if it's hopeful is the right word. I'm optimistic. I feel,
Not worried.
yeah.
Again, that anxiety, like that's the thing that I didn't realize until Angie and I started dating was you shouldn't be anxious about your relationship that you're in. Like I stress probably more about work than anything now because I have literally nothing else in my life stresses me out.
Right.
Right. And it's not because work is so overbearing. It's because everything else is so fucking perfect.
Right.
And I feel like it should be like that.
Right.
And I know that maybe it's not like that for everybody. And that the person that you want to be with, that you clash with sometimes, I don't experience that. And for me now, it's like rose colored glasses when looking at relationships or being idealistic, but it's not idealistic because it's realistic for me. But I feel like that realism should be the ideal for everybody else. I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like, and then that adage of learn how to fight. We talk about it all the time. It's like people tell us the advice for whenever you get married, you got to learn how to fight. It's like, or just learn to avoid those fights and not at the sake of just avoiding them and letting them pile up. Just don't ever get to that point.
Especially over stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like fucking do the dishes, take out the trash, watch Pirlo from chewing on his feet. Fucking like,
yeah,
those things don't matter.
Right.
No, we get tired or we get hangry, but we don't ever purposefully want to hurt the other person's feelings.
Right.
Or we yell at each other. Like, I just don't understand. Sometimes I get real quiet because I know I'm very hangry or I'm irritable, but it doesn't mean that I want to take it out on Tim.
You know, one of the things I talked to, again, the other part of everything lately is just having renewed...
Yes, Brian. Brian's still listening. He's saying,
talk to each other.
Yeah.
Talk to Brian.
You know, the other thing, to that same point, you know, I went and had lunch with Dan, and the whole process of these past few months has been having these renewed conversations and experiences with friends where I came to the realization that at a certain point, every time you meet somebody new, whether it's platonic or in a relationship setting or whatever, you go through the early phases of learning who the other person is and what they're interested in. And then you build common interests. And then that relationship either continues to develop if it's an actual relationship or if it's like a platonic relationship. And unless it's like best friends, those conversations kind of stop and your relationship and friendship sort of gets halted and stymied in that position and place and time. And then it just perpetuates based on those common interests. And so what I've tried to do over the past few months is take a renewed interest in all of my friends and things that I maybe took for granted or haven't had those conversations about how they feel about relationships or the universe or where they are in their lives. And so, you know, went out and had lunch with Dan last week.
I miss Dan.
And
how many kids has he had in the past 6 months?
At least another 3.
Oh,
but you know, we talked a lot about all of this stuff, you know, like relationships and conversation and what's important. And it's interesting to have these conversations with people that it doesn't normally take place or really get discussed to either validate or have a better examined approach to the situation that I'm in, whatever the context may be, whether it's work-life balance or relationships or interests and all of that stuff. So, you know, from that standpoint, I've been really lucky to have really good examples of people that are married and really good friends that are willing to discuss those things in a realistic way. And part of that's just, I mean, it's so cliche, but you know, learning to communicate and compromise and what's really important versus getting bogged down in the stupid shit that doesn't really matter.
Finding people that are sensitive to your feelings, considerate is a big one. People who will notice what they're doing to affect you and other people. And then genuinely interested, asking questions about your day, about your life, and not just always projecting me. I've been applying that to all of my relationships. And the friends that I'm closest with now are the friends who I feel like the effort is shared between both of us.
Yeah.
And also making sure that I'm still putting out those feelers, checking in with them, making sure that it's not always about me.
Right.
Because I notice immediately when someone makes it all about them.
Right.
So I think as long as in a new relationship, and again, this is why I like Stacey so much, I'm already seeing how much she is investing in you and not just watching you invest in someone else and waiting to see how long it's going to take for it to finally start growing. I'm already seeing those signs, and as long as that's there, everything else is just fun stuff to get to know.
Right. Yeah.
Does she know how to play Catan?
I don't know. I haven't asked that question. That might be the deal breaker, right?
I mean, we never played before, and now I win every time. So
That's true.
That's true. Tim was really good.
You won last time we played.
I know. Well, Tim was really good, and he's gotten really bad at it.
He has.
I almost won that last game just on development cards.
He only buys all the development cards, and it doesn't work. But
I stopped winning when we started doing randomizing.
Oh,
and
you
not
mean
going
how
with
it's supposed
like
to be played?
No, the game is.
I know Kevin never lets me connect the oceans to their numbers.
My new goal is just to box each.
He does, but it doesn't work. It works there, but I still. But will Stacey play What Do You Mean with us, and how horrified will she be?
Not at all. We played Cards Against Humanity this past
Oh,
weekend.
okay.
And she knows that the way to win is just to play the most disgusting cards. To
Perfect.
Me. And so no, she's
okay. Great.
Yeah, but and she'd played Catan too. I have no doubt.
And we got to play Sonar at some point. We've had that game for.
What the fuck is that?
It's 4-player Battleship.
We've never played it.
Yeah, we need to do that for sure.
You're gonna call her real quick to do a call in with Stacey.
No, I will definitely do that.
I feel like we should let her listen to this first, and then
I realized that she was spared,
and then spring it on her, because it'll sound way less scary if she hears this. And then
this is
what'd she say?
Oh boy.
We've caught a second wind talking about you. Kevin, you forgot the D as per usual.
Always leaving out the D, Kevin.
Always.
You neglected the D. She said, what? Not like recording or on the air, whatever.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Minute 53.
Oh my God.
How will we find it?
How will we remember that it was minute 53?
So stupid.
What minute is it now that we just referenced minute 53 again?
Yeah, exactly.
Hour and 12 minutes in.
Yeah. So it's been
You staying the night?
No. No.
Kevin's a changed man.
I feel like I am in some way. And it all started with doing this whole creative thing and figuring that stuff out. So from that standpoint, Bubblestuff has been a success for me. I think it's been a success for everybody, right?
Yeah. I think it has been. I mean, we're still figuring out how it fits, and it's gonna ebb and flow. Like our monthly goals went out like a flash of bright light in November.
Yeah, and the field trips.
But it's still been, I mean, again, it's this stuff. Like, this was what was so fun about those early episodes before all the Atlanta United stuff picked up, was just sitting down and talk. I remember us talking about like online dating and how that's such a weird fucking thing, and learning those parts about myself then and applying them now, which was that they were shitty then, they're shitty now. And like, but having these kinds of conversations outside of the creative stuff and talking about the things that are important to talk about, just carving out space. Like, I don't care if anybody listens to this or what it turns into, because what the conversations are and what I got out of it, or what I hope that all of us got out of it, is more important than how many ears tune into it, I guess. if that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
think we come more alive when we start talking about personal stuff. I mean, the art stuff is good and it keeps us all
Yeah.
motivated and going. But when we start just
Yeah.
ragging on each other or
Right.
talking about specifics, then
So how have you guys found fuck, how long is it? Well, I'm gonna do like 10 more minutes. I gotta get home too. Like what's it been like managing the individual pursuits in a new marriage and figuring out how to support and like how do you find the balance between the partnership and the individual?
I think it's like we try to carve out time and be considerate with it. I feel like I speak me especially because I have to go MIA to go do my thing. So for me it's like on a Saturday or something like that. It's like, I always run it by you and you never say no to it. But I always like, do you mind if I go out in the garage for a few hours and go work on this?
Yeah.
And then it's just setting expectations, I guess, and knowing that and trying not to disappear for too long at a time and still popping my head in. And
I think it's easier because the other 95% of our time we're together doing stuff.
yeah,
Like it's not like we have 10 interests that don't overlap and we do them separately. If we're playing tennis or cooking or running
Right.
errands or going to get coffee, like everything else
Right.
is all shared interests that we want to do. So we spend so much time together that when he asks, do you mind if I go in the garage? I usually just laugh at him.
Yeah.
How dare you go in the garage for
Right.
a few
I think
hours?
that is usually the response is, how dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah.
Now I have to draw something or go look at my plants by
Again,
myself.
it comes to like what Brian says, talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's not just disappearing for hours at a time without telling the person or
Yeah.
talking to them about it. Like most of the time, whenever you're drawing, I'm with you too.
Yeah, we're watching TV or he's watching woodworking videos.
Or I'm playing Super Punch Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have so many things like Atlanta United, art shows. We do all of that stuff together.
But it's such a tough balance, right? To like, because you've got to have both. You've got to be able to find the time to break out and do the individual stuff and the stuff together and the stuff to compromise together.
Yeah. But at the same time, like at least in my
it's not
mind,
to say that it's tough. Like
in my mind, like I don't need as much of that individual time as I don't know. Sounds like cheesy or whatever, but I'd much rather spend time with her than yeah. Like a day spent completely with you is far better than 90% with you and 10% in individual pursuit.
Right.
I do remember that feeling of like, oh, I just need a day to myself, and that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, like from years ago before I knew you guys.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore. But I think it is also because we are married and we live together, so we see each other so much that even if we're in the house both doing separate things, we're still spending time together.
Right. And that's been the other thing that I've been thinking about, which is that it's not even about the time doing something myself as much as it is I need to do these things for myself, but I want to share them with somebody else. It's okay for those to be simultaneous.
Yeah, it goes back to the what's the house without a home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that could be applied to pretty much anything in
right
life.
It's like it's important for me to do these things, whether it's creatively or personally with doing stuff around the house or whatever, that's going to provide some fulfillment to me, but it's also fulfilling to me to share that with somebody,
even if it's just sitting in the same room while you both do your separate projects,
and supporting each other, right? Like that's the other thing is like, it sounds so stupid and silly, but it's like I can acknowledge that I need a cheerleader sometimes, and that's a weird thing to admit to myself, is like not being so I'm really self-motivated and independent in a lot of
you got that words of
regards.
affirmation love language, don't you?
It's that physical touch at the top for sure.
Yeah. Because I'm the same way.
It just goes back and forth.
I need the cheerleading too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need it all the time. It's not to say I need to
No,
be.
it's awesome whenever it happens, though.
Yeah, it's like I don't need to be patronized
normal,
about
yeah.
everything, but like
natural.
somebody that's the other thing is like that's what all my closest friendships are, right? It's like people that are genuinely excited about things whenever they're happening, like positive things are happening in my life, and vice versa, like being supportive of each other.
But do you think you don't need that because you just haven't gotten that from previous relationships, so you've convinced yourself that you don't need it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not saying that you're going to demand it from somebody, but
No.
once somebody starts offering
Right.
it, then you'll realize.
Well, it's just little shit, right? Like it's one of those things like you don't like just stuff that I've had happen that I wasn't intending to or wasn't thinking about, even just awareness. I think it goes without saying. It's like you're saying about the people that are willing to engage in both sides of the conversation.
Yeah.
Being aware of people that grasp that idea and are aware enough of themselves to say, oh, I've been talking about myself a lot. What's going on with you or whatever? Or, oh, this person has been doing a lot for me, or hasn't even really been doing anything that big, but I'm really thankful that they're making efforts to do these things because it is an effort at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And is willing to do the same things on the other side, right? It's like
Right.
asking about what's going on or also contributing to the well-being of things.
Like Tim comes to every single one of my art shows, every art market, every festival.
Even the one she says I don't have to go to.
Unless there's an Atlanta United game and I set him free, he comes to all of them, and I don't even have to ask.
Right.
I do sometimes have to say, you don't have to come to this one, because I don't want it to just be this assumed burden all the time. But I know that if he didn't come to all of them, I would second guess how many I signed up for.
Yeah.
Or it wouldn't be as fun. I would look sad behind the table because I'm just sitting there staring at people as opposed to smiling and talking to somebody. And I don't think that's the norm for people that sell at markets. I think we see a lot of supportive significant others, but I don't take that for granted. And so when he wants to work on something, because he's put so much into that, I don't know what to call it, into my hobby, of course I'm not going to hold it against him if he has hobbies, because I know how much fun I have with that, and I want him to be able to have that much fun with his own outlet too.
Right.
So I still get to have my own thing, but I'm still spending time with him.
Yeah.
We're hunting for kombucha or trying not to eat too many cookies and still having a good time, even though we're sitting selling my art.
Right. Okay, great. Really glad we talked about
New Kevin Hoot this.
Okay, bye. Follow us all individually. Angie, where can they find you at?
Angie Herb. Angie Kokoma Herb. ANGIECOCCOMAHERB. Kevin, how many numbers and squiggly signs and stuff to find you?
The _ARC #1 TECT.
You find me at Tim Herb. And as Patrick Keenum said, peyote next time. Spirit Quest on YouTube.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeet, pray, love. Find us.
Yeet, pray, love.
Find us collectively at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. Thank you guys so much. However you found us, be sure to like, subscribe, throw a thumbs up. Any number of stars will do. Thanks. See you next time. As always, be home before dark.
Bye.